My name is Ryan. I'm going to tell a little bit of a story about Robert, who was a friend of mine. He turned 16 years old. When he turned 16, his parents were very rich. They got him a car. Well, he had his driver's permit, but not his license. Well, he had a new car, so he was excited, and his parents told him, be prepared to change the oil on your car. That didn't even dawn on him. It went one ear and came out the other. So when he was driving on the freeway, he didn't have enough oil in his car, so his engine ceased. He was all upset, and he's even more nervous to tell his parents. Well, Robert's not alone, because most teenagers, according to the AutoMD.com, they state that only 2/3 of students know how to do anything about basic car repair. They don't know how to change their battery, they don't know anything, they don't know how to change their oil, or even how to check it. So today I'm going to demonstrate how to change your oil. First, I'm going to tell you what tools you're going to need. First, you're going to need an oil filter wrench, a ratchet and socket, cardboard, and most importantly, your owner's manual. Your oil filter, funnel. This is optional, but it's a flashlight. You can use it if you want. I'll explain why. The reason why you need to use the flashlight is for sometimes, even if it's in the daylight, you can probably see underneath your car. But there are times when you can't, so it might be a little dark, so you might need to use this. This is your oil drain pan. Got your jack stand and your jack. Now when you're changing your oil, it's very important to make sure that your engine is still a little warm, not too hot, because if it's warm, the oil comes out a lot more smoother. As opposed to the engine being dead cold, it's going to take a long time for all that oil to come out. First, you have your jack stand right here. Before you use it, you need to look underneath your car for what's known as tow hooks. There are little slots underneath the front of the car that they're mainly used for jacks and for tow truck drivers. But we're just going to stick with the jack right now. Now, put your jack underneath your car, like so. And basically just keep pressing it. You got to make sure you have it underneath the tow hook. Because if you put it underneath anything else, you could break something, or you could even bend it, and you don't want that. When the car is fully lifted, you have what's known as the jack stand. This is pretty simple. Take the slot out. You can adjust it to any height. High, medium, low. So I'm just going to put it on low. Now, when you use the jack stand, you have to be very careful to put it on something metal. You don't want to put anything plastic. Because if you do, you might break something. When the jack stand is underneath anything metal, like maybe the frame of the car or the axle, get out underneath the car and just shake the car a little bit. Like so, just a little bit. You don't want the car to be a little loose, because then you're underneath there and that car pops off. Well, use your head. You don't want that. Now, the very next thing you want to do is, as your car is lifted. Now, most people, even mechanics, they use what's known as creepers. It's a little platform with wheels. That's okay, you can use that, but if you don't, you can use a piece of cardboard. Very simple. Put this underneath the car. Mainly, I use a cardboard. I use cardboard because you don't get any dirt on you, and it's easier because when you use a creeper, the car is like really up close to you. And I've heard from mechanics that it gets in the way when you're doing oil because the little wheels get caught, or you slide back even further underneath the car. You don't want that. It's stuck. Now, next is your owner's manual. We're going to need to find the oil drain plug. You don't know where that's at. That's why you need your owner's manual. It will tell you where it is at. Very next thing is, once you find it, you're going to need your ratchet and your oil drain pan. Now mine, because most oil drain pans look a little different, mine is set up just to, this huge hole right here is for the oil. The reason it looks like this is when the oil drains in, it's easy to carry. This carries about 12 quarts. Each, depending on the car, carries different types of quarts of oil. So as you find your oil drain plug, you're going to need to use your ratchet to unscrew the bolt. You're going to unscrew the bolt, and once the oil is draining in to the oil drain pan, just let it drain for about a few minutes or several minutes, depending on your car and depending on how much oil it takes. Now, while that is draining, you'll need to look in your owner's manual again, because you're going to need to find what's known as the oil filter. And I'll show you what that looks like. This is what your oil filter looks like. Okay, it's a little cylindrical object. Sometimes sometimes the oil filter can be underneath the car or in the back. That's why you're going to need to consult your owner's manual, because it'll tell you where it's at. Once you find it, while that's still draining, you're going to need to use this. It's an oil filter wrench. It will help getting it off. Now you just need to turn a little bit so the oil drains out. There's still some oil in there. So don't turn all the way off, because all the oil is going to come spilling out. You don't want that. Now once that's off, once the oil has drained out, you take the old one, just set it anywhere, and the oil is probably already drained out. You need to consult your owner's manual one more time, because you need to know what type of oil filter to get. Owner's manual will tell you that. Now, when you get the new oil filter, you'll need to check where you put the oil filter at, where it clocks right back in, because if you see this little rubber washer right here, this little black little thing, if that is not on the oil filter, you have a problem, because it's stuck on the engine. You'll need to get that off. If you don't get it off and you put a new oil filter on, you start up the engine, you'll have a huge mess. Heard many stories about that. Well, as you get a new one, use your quart of oil that you buy. Take a little bit of oil, put it on here, so that's a little lubricated when you put it in. Now, you don't need to use the wrench to put it back in. Just use your hands, 3/4 of a turn. So that's turned in. And since that's already drained out, put the lid back on. Fill. This one takes about 12 quarts of oil. It can hold that much. It's already set to go. I'll explain what you need to do with the oil later. Now, after that, since you've already taken off the drain bolt that holds the oil with the ratchet, you need to put it right back on. After that, you can get underneath the car. Now, I said I was going to explain what you can do with the oil. It's very important. And when you got the oil, you may not have something like this. You may have maybe a little paint pan that you can use to carry the oil. I wouldn't suggest dumping it down the drain. It's a big no-no. If you don't want to dump it down the drain, don't dump it out in the lawn. No. Now, that stuff's bad for the environment. Just take it to your local auto shop. They will take it. They shouldn't charge you. Because I've heard some people say they charge you, but they don't. A whole lot of them. Now, the next thing you need to do is once you put your jack back underneath the car, you gotta lower it. Well, first off, you need to take your jack stand off and then use your jack to lower it. You'll need to pop your hood. It should be very simple. You can consult your owner's manual to find out where the hood lever is at. It should be right next to the steering wheel. Once you have your hood popped open, look again in your owner's manual, because you need to look for the oil cap. The oil cap is where you put the oil in. Now, most importantly, your owner's manual will tell you what oil you need to use. For example, this is 10W30. As opposed to 5W30, there are two different types of oil. This one's a little more thicker. This is for use for older cars, like for 1984, which is my car. For 5W30, could be used for a newer car, for a 2013 model. And this holds about 1 quart of oil. So your owner's manual will tell you how much quart of oil you'll have. You can use that. You'll need to use your funnel when you find your engine cap. When you take it off, put it in the hole. When you do, dump the oil in. Now, let's say your car takes 4 quarts of oil, 4 bottles. You need to buy 4 bottles. They're pretty cheap, maybe $5. After that, when it's all filled up, put your oil cap back on. You have to take your funnel out first. After that, close your hood, and you basically have changed your oil. That's about it.